let's take 5 seconds. This space is beautiful.
It is. It's gorgeous.
Super dope.
I'm blessed to be in it. That's for sure.
Like, I love a good aesthetic. Like the color palette is just inviting.
Yeah.
Like, this is what creators live for, man.
I know.
That's it.
It's so important to have a good environment.
Oh,
It's like I have to have natural light.
I know.
I don't know how people work in cubicles with no light.
I like the storage. The storage
the
over here.
bookshelf
Yeah,
over
the
there.
bookshelf. Yeah, that's nice.
see, that's what I need. A better situation in my space is the better use of wall storage area.
Yeah.
Like, all the crate stuff get big and bulky, and you end up feeling
That's exactly how I walk in here.
yeah.
Yeah, I had to carry crates.
That's it. That's the creative life, though. I mean, if you don't have crates, then how you moving?
I don't have crates.
You moving it, especially down in Mississippi, in the landmass. You know what I'm talking about? Where Chris has wet all the time.
Chris has the best situation. She shows up. Like,
This
she's
is her
friends with
crate.
all the people with crates.
Yes.
This
I
is her
appreciate
crate.
the setup.
And then-
Thank you. That's the best part.
She has people move it for her.
Yeah.
No.
Talent.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's my call time?
Oh, yeah. I can't pick that up.
But that's a lie, because if I go anywhere, I'm like,
You always-
"Hey, what I gotta do?"
Yeah.
Chris, she'll lug anything, man. No matter.
She is the some palms to the ground type of talent. Like, she'll get sweaty before she goes live on air, like 5 minutes before, getting wiped down with tissues. You know what I'm saying?
All that's from church, man. Like when you grew up like in a small church, you're everything, right? So like this setup was like my dad. It was literally like just
The
Bill,
mixing board.
right? Just him. So we're getting in there early for conferences and doing everything, and that's what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody got dirty.
I got my start in the church too. You got
All of us.
You did
Yeah.
too?
Like PK.
Yeah.
You're a PK.
Yeah.
Wow. So I'm not a PK, but I'm a
You close enough.
worship leader kid. You know what I'm saying?
It's all the same.
Yeah, it really
had to
is.
be there.
Minister's daughter.
that's it.
Yeah.
Have to be there.
And you did everything.
And when I was growing up, it was Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday. Like,
Oh, that's it?
well, then there was rehearsal too. So like sometimes rehearsal was before church on Sunday, but sometimes it was like that Thursday. So it was like four times a week, twice on Sunday.
Like, we got it in. Like, I could have had a bedroom at my church.
Yes.
I was there so much.
I actually did have a bedroom at my church. Like, this is a crazy story. When we first moved to Mississippi from the military, from Eglin Air Force Base over to Keesler, my family was going to buy a house here. So we didn't sign up for base housing. And so we had temporary housing on base, but that only lasts 30 days.
Yeah.
You know how crazy it is to buy a house. We didn't have a house once that was over. And so we had found a church, and they actually let us stay at the church
Get out.
until we found a house and moved in.
That's pretty dope. Yeah.
That was crazy.
And then the volunteers just
That was just like we were there. Hey guys, since you're here,
Oh, they're there. Can y'all?
yeah, somebody's there. Just not hard enough so they can hear you.
I mean, were y'all a part of the cleanup crew? I mean, we did everything.
I did everything.
We
Start
Saturday
and
vacuuming
finish.
and fixing everything.
Key to key.
Yeah.
First key in the door, last key out of the door.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it did two things for me. It kind of jaded me to the back end of the church, but it also got me really interested in media and the arts. So I'm thankful for that time in my life for sure, because it got me into what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I credit that time as my ability to fail without consequence, because they just happy you're there. Yeah. Mike squealing, sure.
Oh,
it's okay.
it's all right.
He's here every Sunday. He'll figure it out. It'll
get better.
They'll
It'll get
encourage
better.
you. But everything I've learned, all the stuff that I wanted to even try or imagine, I've been able to like do it in ministry where it doesn't harm me in any way. Like that's the client that just won't go away.
For sure. Yeah, that really hits home with me when you say like the ability to fail, because performing and everything came from church as well. Yeah. So I was always the person singing in the choir and doing the plays.
So you sing?
I can sing.
We're gonna have to
Doesn't
try
mean
that
I'm
out on the
singer,
podcast here
but I
soon.
can sing. And all my creativity, I got to just express any kind of way that I wanted to. Yeah. And so that freedom to just be able to develop anything, literally anything, whether it's a fundraiser or we're going to do a teen night, full range to just fail.
Like-
they clap for you too, right?
I just like it just hit me when
Let
you
them
said
use it,
that.
baby. Let them use it.
We really learned how to start an event, plan it, invite. Like, you don't realize what you're doing till you get older, because number one, they weren't going to tell you they're going to pay you for it. It was just, you going to do this. But it really does teach you all these different aspects of just media and creative processes.
It gives you process. It teaches you, like, when you're approaching the podium, what's the first thing that you do, and how do you maintain eye contact,
Etiquette and all of it. Yeah.
How to properly hold a mic,
Right.
where to put it, all that.
Don't rapper the mic.
Yeah.
We can't hear you, baby.
Oh my
I
God,
don't know
those
if you
mic
guys-
covers need to be sanitized so badly.
Shout out to the churches that still rocking 20-year-old mic covers, because that thing is disgusting.
Shout out to Aunt Berthel, who always wore too much lipstick. You know what I'm talking about?
It's got the stain on it, you know what I mean?
Gosh,
Oh,
why do you have to
man.
eat the mic?
Nobody use pastor's microphone.
Nobody.
Never.
And it smells like, I remember the first time, and even with my dad, I used to like tell my mom, like, man, we got to get dad a new cover because this thing stinks.
Like, how do you talking to this?
Yeah, like, come on, man. But my dad was like, the cool thing about my dad, both of my parents were engineering backgrounds, so technology was always present in our lives. So my dad was like one of the first ones to have like a UHF wireless microphone. So when he would preach, I would set his mic up, and people would be like, "Oh, his is on mic." Like, yeah, don't worry about it. Like, just got an XLR. I need to. And back then, it wasn't XLR to XLR. It was quarter to XLR.
Yeah.
And you would go out the back and learning how to get, line of sight and all that. And I would notice, like, it would cut out if it was too close to, like, those powered amps back then. And I just think about how, like, I loved how technology made things easier.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really seeded me to really focus in on, like, the newest thing in tech. And, looking at it now, like, man, I don't think I would even be a fragment of what I am today.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You're crediting your folks. I got to credit my dad, who was and is still the media ministry in our hometown.
Shout out to the OGs.
They're literally right now setting up like a new projector screen. He's having to do. I'm like, you've been doing this forever, and he's gonna forever. Because he's retired. This is gonna be what he does. Until his last breath. So
From tape to
yes,
today.
Oh my gosh, yes. I had to help with get another tape.
We need
Record.
to get OG dad on the
Oh my gosh,
pod, man. Like, y'all.
my dad was definitely like burning the CDs and making the little covers.
Does it have the
and all that.
stack burner?
Oh yeah, we did.
You remember the multiple tape cassette ones where you could put the master in there? There was like 6 of them at a time, and that was like
I had to keep getting those out. And putting them in.
Y'all are bringing me back to headache days. Those weren't. Y'all keep glorifying it like it was good.
Well, it wasn't. It was the trenches, and it was very gritty. However, I can definitely appreciate it because, again, looking at my father, like, yes, first one in the building, last one out.
Yeah.
Whether it was cleaning, running the media ministry, or whatever, played drums.
Yeah.
That gave me such a start, again, of working that background and then just being so diligent at what you're doing. And then for his sake, it was like they didn't even pay people. Now these are jobs, but they didn't even pay people. And so he was like, it's all to God. Like, whatever I do, I know what I'm working for. I know why I'm doing this. And so it just makes you become like this person that doesn't just do something for, just gain of something, but, to put purpose in your life and to really help others and to be a part of community. So that definitely, like you were saying, like, Chris will get her. Yes, I will get my hands dirty because that's what I know.
Yeah.
That's what I come from. That's good stock that I was, raised in.
Absolutely.
And so shout out to Bill Scretchen, who's still out there.
Yeah, shout out to Mr. Bill, man. Mr. Scratcher.
There it is.
We salute you, sir.
That's it.
Yeah.
So Landmass Collective. Let's just start there.
Okay.
Let's
Yes.
start there. What is the
I was
Landmass?
about to say, what is it?
What?
We have a lot of value and wealth at this table.
Absolutely.
So why are we here?
Well, we are here to start a new thing in South Mississippi. We're calling it Landmass because if you've been living here long enough, you know what that means.
Yeah.
We are kind of the forgotten land, the landmass between New Orleans and Mobile, Alabama. That's what, CNN said back when Katrina came. And a lot of people forget that there's even a beach in Mississippi. So it's like South Mississippi doesn't exist to a lot of people, and we're here to put it on the map. And there are a lot of creative people here in Mississippi, and this is a place for you to have a seat at the table. This is a place for creatives. I'm a videographer. I run a video production company. Crystal's a great on-screen, on-the-mic talent, gets her hands dirty in the back end and all that kind of stuff. Chuck is a DJ, does music, a serial entrepreneur. He set all this stuff up for us and did the back end on the podcast here.
Hey.
And then we got a creative director of Singing River over here, Low. And there we go. There we go. Also a phenomenal videographer and video production professional. So we're just here. We're kind of the guys that kind of got this started. It actually started with an idea that Low had with coffee and creatives way back in the day. Got together with me a few months ago, and we kind of sketched it out on the whiteboard and got Chuck and Crystal involved as soon as we could, because we knew they'd be a great fit as well. This is not just for Black creatives. This is not just for white creatives. This is a place for all creatives with a focus on lifting you up. This is a place for us to collect and collaborate and network. So the goal really is to make money happen. We want to be able for our people.
I like make money happen.
Yeah, and there he goes.
And it's a lot of money here, man. Listen, I'm born and raised here, and one of the things that I want to dispel is that people think that you cannot be successful on the Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
You got to think when Cruising the Coast comes here, that's a multi-million-dollar week, and when scraping, all these events come through, you're seeing multi-million-dollar events take place here. On top of the casinos making money all the time here. So there's opportunities here. I think what we want to see and help define is a better understanding of the skill set and the values we bring. I know with me, I had to a lot of times go outside of the market to really sustain and take care of my family. And I always remember, like, it's easy to pack up and move, but why should we have to move? I love the coast. It's beautiful, man. Like, I think nobody just wanted to work hard enough on educating our area in the scope of what it takes to understand, like, creative services, as well as how to implement it to get a return on your value, So, when you're looking at things like that, it's just some of the scenarios that we can do. And I know we're going to play a role in changing that narrative.
Yeah, I like the word collective. It triggers for me like pulling together, right? Yeah. Avengers.
You creative Avengers, huh?
Oh. Yeah.
Assemble.
Yeah, I thought y'all were going to say it. Sorry. I was like, okay, they didn't.
I went blank. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was
looking at you.
My mind was like,
come on. Fam.
With our powers combined.
Yeah.
No.
Your powers
Captain
combined.
Yeah. Captain Planet. There.
But yeah, like for me, like you said, there's so many people here who are creative, who have like great talents, got just genius minds, and it just seems like there's not jobs that are matching those skill sets. So they're not implementing and using them. They don't know what to do with them. And I just remember first moving back down to the coast, because I'm from here as well, born and raised in Bay St. Louis. It was like, where are we?
Yeah.
And it's great to like find people that you can work with and connect with, but gosh, it takes forever to just even start learning people. And so I think it's a great thing to have like this platform that people can hyper connect and find their tribe and quickly start seeing where they can plug in. Because for me, like you were saying, like so many people outside that come into it are like, y'all are dope. Y'all can come do this for our conference. Y'all can, and it's like, but trying to do that here is just so hard. And so for me, it's always been, how do I utilize this talent and still live here? How do I, find work? Especially when everybody's still trying to make you work for the free 99 and for the exposure.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just going to be really helpful for other creatives.
I think that the lane that you're talking about goes two ways, because, you talk about the people that might be trying to get us to work for free 99. Those folks, they know the value, right, of what we offer. I think there are a lot of businesses out there that have no idea that they need us.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think Landmass Collective and the Landmass Podcast is a vehicle to educate businesses like these are some of the services that you need that could increase the bottom line on your business. And then also it, like you said, it shows a way for us to truly become financially successful and help someone else do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. And what I found, I work with a ton of businesses, have business meetings with people all the time that end up not using me for production. What I find is that the people that don't end up using the services that we provide are thinking too small. If we could get them to lift their eyes up and realize that we're a globally connected society now, get your mind off of just South Mississippi. Like there's a bunch of small shops in Ocean Springs, Bay St. Louis, little quaint little shops where it's really cool to walk into their space, but that's all they think about. If they could get an online shop and actually market it properly, man, they could keep their shop, but then the majority of the business would be online.
Yeah, and some of them have done that, especially with the pandemic.
A lot of people have, and I actually pivoted my business a little bit during the pandemic and helped some people do that, and was able to stay afloat that way.
Yeah.
So it's,
But you got to think too, Anthony, in the point you said, I like that you brought that out. A lot of times in South Mississippi, we are afraid of scaling, right? So those businesses who say, well, I know who I'm competing against on the coast and on my block. I can understand that. Competing against the world is a very different ball game. And a lot of times we as humans just love the things that we know. So the devil I know versus what is unknown. And you know where I'm going.
yeah.
So I think it's a lot of moving parts that gotta change.
Yeah, the one mindset that I really want to shift with Landmass, and you hit on it, is the competition devil. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yes.
a lot of creatives even think about other creatives as competition.
Yeah.
Like,
I like where you're going.
we're for you. Like this is a race. This is a marathon.
Yeah.
Like if you're a runner, you know the marathon community. Everybody there is technically competing, but everybody there is encouraging everybody. Like you do the best you can. You finish your race, and we all celebrate that. There's enough for everybody. There's enough road for everybody to run on.
This is not fun running alone.
Exactly. So, I mean, me and Lo when we started, Lo was not the creative director at Singing River. We were technically competing companies, but we connected and networked together. We actually worked on some projects together and networked so that we can do bigger productions, put on live events and all this kind of stuff. So it's not a competitive thing. If you stop thinking about it as competitive and start thinking about it as networking, and maybe other people are in the same parallel as you, but we can connect, we can network, and we can reach out and put on different, bigger productions, bigger events, reach bigger target markets, reach bigger brands. That's the kind of thing that we're here for, and we're gonna do a lot of stuff. We're gonna have meetings where we network for local things, but we're also gonna do breakout sessions where we teach you how to reach, say, six figures in your niche. We're gonna teach you how to build a target, build an audience. We're gonna do all that. It's stuff that we have done personally with our brands, so that we can teach. But we're also hopefully gonna bring in other people that are smarter than us or have done it for longer, those kind of things.
We're professionals. So you've got professional football players, basketball players. Everybody's in the league. Everybody's winning. They've got contracts. That's what we want for this group. That's what we want for our area. We want everybody to be in the league, winning, and making the type of money that you need to sustain your families and go and grow.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I heard someone say, if there are bad businesses in your area, there's always potential for more work. Yeah. And it really makes sense when you think about how, a business that starts out, a lot of times people are scraping to start, right? So if I was starting a coffee company, I'm just trying to get the coffee, I'm trying to get the cups, I'm trying to get the decor, right? So marketing and creative services are always the last thing on the list, because if I can just get open, hopefully there's the prayer that people are going to like it enough to tell somebody.
Yeah.
Which word of mouth is still great. But we live in the internet technology now. Most of the time, things that I discover, Siri either tells me or somebody posted about it. Like, I'm seeing stuff like I was riding here this morning and I saw developments that I had no idea were even happening.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
We could tell those stories.
you know what I'm saying? But you need to get the word out. And I saw, I think I was watching Him 500, and he was talking about creatives understanding the level that you're at, right? So it's just like alcohol. You have top shelf, which is your premium service of alcohol. Like, there's no aftertaste. Chuck, you mix.
Yeah.
There's no aftertaste. There's a lot more
The good
effort
stuff
that go into that product. When you get to mid shelf, that's the stuff that, most people can afford. You can have a good time with it.
It ain't bad, but
then
it's the best.
But then there's a time where, I don't want to spend a lot of money on something. I just need to
Drink water.
And you know what I mean?
I'm sorry.
You got what they call low tier.
Just drink water.
And, I think it goes the same way with creative services. I think sometimes there are people who you call them when you need to make that guaranteed impact. But then there's people who are still learning it. Like, my process is not top tier yet, but it's good enough for you to get you through there.
Yeah. It'll get the job done.
And those people are there. And then you have the low tier of people starting out who, like, everything it may be rough around the edges, but you can still use it.
Yeah.
And the problem I think that we have here is that we have a merge of the tiers. So you got people that'll look at me or Anthony or you guys and say, well, Anthony's getting, 10 grand for a commercial. I need to charge 10 grand for a commercial.
But you don't have.
No, but you can't guarantee.
You're right.
Right?
Nor do you have the track record.
Right. So I think I can share this. I was recently shooting some BTS with Anthony on a shoot he had. It's crazy. We understood the time of day.
Mm-hmm.
That lighting was there, and we started packing up. Anthony had just got the final shot. We're getting the gear in the vehicles. Anthony looks and says, wait a minute, the sun's about to drop. I need to get my camera back out. When I turned and looked, I saw what we couldn't see it yet.
Yeah.
But we shoot enough to understand the moment we were in. This shot was money, when I tell you, money. And immediately we spring into action. Anthony goes, gets the lens he needs. We're both throwing it out. Oh, you're going to get a longer lens, compress it, make it beautiful, blah, blah, blah. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I think he was shooting like a 300. Yeah, so it was really compressed. Beautiful shot. Sun is dropping right behind the subject. Man, it's beautiful. He starts making adjustments. He's trying to do things. I said, hey, you worry about the shot. I'll get all the rest of the stuff in action.
Right.
We move cars, vehicles to a T. That shot manifests, right?
Nice.
What you don't get is a new creative doesn't know to do that. A new creative doesn't say to Anthony, I don't need you worrying about the gear and all that. You do what you need to do.
Right.
And I'll manage the chaos that we need to do. Whose car is this? Let's get it out of the shot. No, he needs to get further away.
Yeah.
All these things, that's what you get with premium. There's no aftertaste. There's no headache about getting the things done. The same thing in cover season.
There's the shot. I got it.
Yeah.
You guys got to see that. You guys, I'll show it to you guys too.
And it's something about having, this is mine. You know what I mean?
You're claiming it.
Keep claiming it, Chuck. But
That is mine.
I love that.
It's dope, ain't it?
That's what you get from people who have lived and done things and studied to prove themselves. And that cannot be the same price point as someone who doesn't have the intellect to know to do those things.
The other thing I hear you saying is, for you to get to that point, you've got to be around.
Yeah.
I think that's be around.
Yeah, and I think that that's also going to be such a big thing because you don't have mentorship as much these days. You just kind of like come fresh out of school and you're like, okay, what do I do? How do I charge? What's happening?
Yeah.
Or you got a little talent,
Yeah, so it's great to be like taken under the wings of like being on a set with someone else's projects or, riding, riding shot with them because you get to see and be on the ins and outs. And for me, that's always been the best growth is just experiencing it firsthand. And even if you're just running and setting things up and it's not your shot, first you're building bonds with people, they're going to remember you for being there and being helpful. And when it's your turn, you have, companions there that you can help collaborate things with. But it's just like, gosh, you get to really see what it takes to get the perfect shot or be in a moment. And I've been working with Lo for such a very long time. And every time we're apart from each other, we're like, I miss your energy.
Yeah.
I miss breathing with you. And people are probably like, what the hell are they talking about? Like, no, like, because creatives have to have certain work environments. You just have to have synergy. And there's so much magic that happens. That shot was a magical moment that you caught at that point. And you have the intuitive notion to know, okay, I need to stop and get this. This is gold.
Yeah.
And so I think
we literally had called wrap like 5 minutes before that.
I just finished the reel. I was like, oh no, I need to make some more room. We got to get this in there.
Yeah, but when you're in those environments, you really learn like that part of it. It's so pinnacle to like be able to make magic, to be in a moment. That's what I was telling you about being in those shed sessions and seeing musicians on the back end of their rehearsal. Yeah. It's like you get these magical moments that you don't even get during the concert sometimes. And I think that is so big as far as like, I wish I had this group to quickly go, oh, I need to connect with them. And I need what shoots are y'all doing? What events are y'all working on?
Right.
Let me come volunteer. Let me, learn really fast because it's going to elevate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what Landmass is going to be. Like we want to create the environment where you can be around creative people that can level you up and then create this ladder effect where you might be better at something than me and I can learn from you and then you can learn from me and then I can learn from you. And we just keep growing. Iron sharpening iron. And we want to create that space where we can do that. But also like the big goal is for me to be able to say, hey, I've got this job, this production,
right,
and I can refer this other creative in on the process. Maybe it's even my client. Maybe they're paying me and I'm paying you as a third party.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to spread the love. Yeah. Pull people in on different projects. If I can't get to something, I'm not a photographer. I take some photos. Yeah. But there's a lot of clients that need photos, like specifically need photos, and so I'll pull in a photographer.
Yep.
And that they'll get the budget for that side of it. So I want to be able to do that, and I want to be able to teach people how to create those magical moments, like we were just talking about.
So many things that just pivot your career, man.
Yeah.
Chris said it. Mentorship. I'm a product of mentorship to this day. Not even just that, but collaborations. Like I can proudly say all of us have work projects where opportunities are shared unilaterally.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of times now you see Anthony started out the conversation about competition. Your ego will cause you to have a slower climb than anything else, in my opinion. Being able to not recognize your talent, number one, just because you support somebody else doesn't negate your talent. And I see so many young creatives now think like, oh, well, they shot that video. Yeah, it was cool, but like, I'm better. Like, dude, you can appreciate somebody else's art. Like, none of us would be here had someone not created something that inspired us. Like, me supporting Anthony did not, even though he got the shot, I was inspired. I love being in that moment. And I told you at the end of the shoot, thank you for allowing me into your space.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times today, creatives are scared to trust people into their process.
Because there's no community when you're scared.
Yeah.
There's no community.
Yeah.
And what good was that going home by yourself saying, man, I got a great shot, and you shared it with nobody?
just the client.
Or you didn't get it.
You know what I mean?
Or the client most of the time, the client doesn't even appreciate how much work it took to get that shot. You know,
they were filming us being excited about it. They were like, they didn't even know what was going on. They just started filming and I was like, yeah, and like, I see it. Like,
yeah. Well, the cool thing about them, though, I mean, it's not the typical. They were artists.
Yeah.
So
it goes back to mindset. And that's the space that I work in as well. Outside of being a creative, I'm very much so in that self-help, positivity, affirmations. You gotta like really believe in yourself in a way that like you tap into that intuitive side. And that's such a big part of being a creative, is to like have the freedom to express in a way that maybe hasn't been done before, and being able to push boundaries and things like that. And it's all mindset. So whether it's the business that can't see beyond the little, town that they're in, or if it's the creative who's scared to venture out, like it takes so much of self-belief and then just being willing to like, go on out. So how amazing would it be to have other people who are like-minded, who have that mindset? Because all of us are entrepreneurs in our spirit. Like we've all ventured out, tried new things, failed a whole bunch, but to be able to have, friends that can get you on that and that you can collaborate with or bounce ideas off of, that is like, you can't even put a price on that. Although we will if we need to. So.
Yeah. I mean, all of us here at this table are entrepreneurs. I believe we all have the entrepreneurial spirit, but I don't think that everybody has that. You know what I mean? So, but there are a lot of creative people who don't have the entrepreneurial spirit that I think we can pull in and grow that aspect. And if they want to be freelancers and start their own business to grow a personal brand, that's great. I think we can find connections too, where we can network them in with people who do have that entrepreneurial
But
spirit.
the mindset is still there.
That's the mindset.
Regardless if you own your own business or if you're working within a company. Like I work within a company. So like Lowe's, referring to photo shoots for a magazine that I'm working for, it still takes being able to like put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Like when you're problem solving and coming up with solutions, you always need to be thinking forward and leaning forward. You have to have that. To me, it's the same entrepreneurial mindset, because you're venturing out, you're trying something new. It takes that mindset to me to be creative and really be vulnerable and put your work out there. And so I think that in general, that's something we all share, but I just feel it's so good to be able to like be around other people that are doing.
I got a question for y'all.
Yeah.
What's your daily affirmation that you say to yourself?
Oh, I am enough is always my affirmation.
Yeah. Like with me is, I say it all the time, to thyself be true. Like, and I really just try to, wherever state I'm in, I allow myself to feel that and then adjust. Like, I think the problem that I had in the past was that I would feel something or some way and not process it. And that would bottle me up, and then it would cause it to come out in other ways, even in my art or how I felt, like my thoughts, my choices. But now, like, I'm at a point where I realize, to thyself be true. Know what it is that you're doing and where you are, and then adjust and pivot if need be.
For me, I don't have necessarily a daily affirmation. My thing is like, let's go. I say that to myself.
That's the mantra.
That's my mantra. Like it's probably every day that I say that to myself. Let's go. Let's do this. Because a lot of times I don't feel like doing it. So say that. Say that. Get up and do a few jumping jacks and get the stuff done. You know what I'm talking about. So,
what about you, Chuck?
Go and grow.
There you go.
Yeah, go and grow.
That's it.
Like, no matter what you're doing, even like you say, I don't feel like doing it sometimes, but I gotta go. If I don't go, especially as a person that is an entrepreneur, that works for himself as a service provider for other people, if you don't go, you're not gonna get paid.
Point blank.
100.
1,000.
And then going to edit these videos if I don't.
All right.
I gotta pay somebody else to do it.
and then, your profit margin goes down.
Yeah, exactly.
But in all those situations, whatever it is, you got to grow from it. You got to grow from
I
it.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, enough was something that came before it was cool. Before it was everywhere.
The Periscope days.
I said that out of my own journey and not ever feeling good enough. And there's a perfectionism in me that sometimes I battle all the time because, You know, it's a lot of times like we don't want to release our stuff because it needs to be at a level in our heads when we need to kind of just let it happen and be messy and go with it. And so for me, I just have to always remind myself of that, especially as I'm getting older and technology's moving fast. And where I used to be like a golden child who was like keeping up with stuff and being the first one, it's like oversaturated now and everybody's doing stuff.
Yeah.
And so for me, I have to like just connecting it to the creative side, I really have to stop and go, what did I do? Did I bring my best? Do I feel good about this thing that I'm putting out to the world?
Yeah.
That's all I need to do. I need to do my part and let everything else happen the way it needs to happen. I don't need to be thinking about how this person designs or what this person has to say, or if I'm, you know, if I feel like I'm at a level that other people are at, did I put my art out into the world? Did I put my expression out into the world? And for me, it's connected to purpose. So I Am Enough makes me stay in that and go, hey, you did what you're supposed to do. You're in your lane. You're not looking at other people. And I feel good about it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Love it. Landmass Collective, first meetup, January 19th, not the 16th.
Thursday.
Thursday. It's on a Thursday. After work, after hours, hang out. Come
groovy.
Come drink some coffee, hang out with us. Switching topics now. You brought up technology. Have you guys been into ChatGPT at all?
Yeah.
Been looking into it.
Yes. I've been like addicted to it for the last 3 to 4 days. It's an OpenAI tool for free that you just there's an app. I've been going to just the website, but you tell it to do something, like give you a script.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I have heard of this.
And it writes a script that's decent.
I've been utilizing it. Canva is using it within their Magic Write.
Embedded.
Yeah. Nice. So when you use Magic Write, it's using that technology.
Nice. Yeah, because it's OpenAI. There's an open API for it. So, you know, you can use it within your apps and all that kind of stuff too. So if you've got an iPhone app or whatever app or website, you can use it on your own website using their open API and integrate it into your own stuff. So if you've got a chatbot, you can integrate the open API into into that, and you can have it actually have a conversation
with people
and have it pull information from the website.
Let me tell you what's cool. Gary Vee is using it to take all of his speeches, all of his content, and creating a catalog.
Wow.
So when you say, Alexa, what would Gary Vee tell me about creating content in 24 hours? All of the speeches and video that he's done, it will articulate back in voice. That's the next step, and I'm probably giving away too much.
It's already out there. So
but people aren't wielding it in that way.
Yeah.
And I told you the other day, one of the most profound things I've heard recently was that a speaker said, I give free game online because I know 95% of the people aren't going to listen and use it. So you rather pay me 10 grand to tell you what to do when you could just watch the videos I give all the time and all that information is there. But most people want to pay for you to hold their hand and do it for them.
Yeah.
So that's why they charge people all day.
It's not doing it for them though. I listen to a lot of Chris Do. Chris Do is like my mentor from a distance right now. And I'm not in on the Future Pro or anything like that. I hope to be one day, but I'm not in on the Future Pro, so he's my mentor at a distance right now. And I think the thing that he would say about that is like, people value what they spend money on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's a mindset change. That was a mindset change for me going and like charging people for video services and stuff like that too. Like if you've got a client that's got a big problem and they only want to pay you $500 for this video solution for their huge problem, they obviously don't value that problem. Maybe,
a value solution for that problem.
Yeah. Well, they don't value the problem. Like they don't think it's worth fixing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because if you've got say your main hose is busted going to your house and it's leaking in your house, flooding your home.
You want it fixed.
You want it fixed. You want it fixed now, and you don't care how much it costs.
But it may not started out like that. It started with a drip.
Right.
And you said, it's just a little drip coming through. Mm-hmm. and you say, I'll get around to it. But the urgency doesn't exist until it's out of your control.
So you see these business owners with, driving around in Lexuses having, $50,000 kitchens in the back, and then they want to spend $300 on a commercial to get people in. So it's like, okay, why do you even want this video? Is it worth is it worth solving your problem? You don't have people coming to your restaurant. Sounds like a major problem. Do you want that fixed? Is video the best way to do that? Is there anything else that you could be doing to get people here? We're trying to solve this problem. It's not about me making a video for you at this point, because if you're only willing to pay $300, $3,000, whatever for this video, but you've got this, $300,000 problem,
right?
Or
you wouldn't want video to fix your bottom line, like
right?
Because now you're in the fourth quarter and you're like, man, we gotta make.
Does it even match up?
Can we get a commercial that'll save the day? Like, hey, no.
Or you just want the video to look cool, to match your branding or whatever. So how much is your branding worth? How much is that? Let's quantify this. So.
Oh, that's a whole nother that's a class in itself. Because
if we get into the value setting, we're fighting against, people being able to pay $5 minimum to get some stuff done.
Yeah.
And I was curious about that. Like, the more that we have technology coming in and we have all this automation and things that are these,
but people still don't understand it. See, that's the thing that I think secures us as creatives, is that people don't understand it. Like,
they understand Canva. They understand Fiverr.
No, they
going overseas.
Well, they understand a quick means of a solution to get a product, right?
Yeah.
So I tell people all the time, what Starbucks sells is not coffee. What Starbucks sells is the experience of what it gives, right? So it's just something about the feeling of a Starbucks. Like, you could blindfold me and I could tell you when I got to Starbucks. There's a smell in the air when you open it, when you go in, that you don't get with most coffee shops. There's a vibe, that chatter, like there's not really music heavy, but it is current stuff that you will recognize. It's the energy of that place, right? You made, like, one of my new favorite places is Jacked Up Coffee. Shout out to them. Love the avocado toast. It is great.
Such a millennial thing to say.
But here's the thing. When I went in there, I liked the vibe. The vibe was cool, but it did not give me Starbucks. And that's how you know you've mastered something within your craft and your industry, when it can't be easily replicated. People can do it all day.
But Jacked Up got the vibes, though.
Jacked Up does
Shout
not
out
make
to
you
Dixon.
feel like Starbucks.
So what was missed? Well, that's all.
Here's what I'm saying. It's different. I enjoyed it, but would it make me go back to Starbucks all the time? See, that's the difference I tell people when it comes to creatives. What makes me different than most creatives is not just that I can make a good video. Yeah. It's the way I make you feel when you're around me.
I agree, Lo, but I don't think people care about that sometimes.
Some people don't. And this
so we
is
got to change a lot of
But here's
mindsets.
what I said. It goes
Make
back
me a
to
video.
it. Anthony, we talked about this. I realize I'm not the creator for everybody anymore.
Sure.
I don't even market to like will I shoot you a video of your new business? Maybe. But I don't want you.
I will bring all that business to me. Let's go. Go in, girl.
Now listen.
That's it.
Now Anthony, he will say that, but most businesses are not going to pay Anthony what Anthony is worth.
That's right. If you got budget for some videos on Let's Talk, though, I mean,
yeah, because see, that's different. Now, at the end of the day, my ideal client would be someone who can understand the value of long-term relationships. Because the one hit 'em quit 'ems, like when I first got into video production, I was doing everything. It could be real estate today, something else tomorrow, this and that, and then I was chasing the bag. But then I realized I was killing myself trying to get to a number that really wasn't helping me grow. Mm-hmm. When I started understanding that, like, most of my clients became people who were like celebrities or had platforms that had value and they could value me, the whole process shifted. Number one, we didn't have to worry about budget. That was off the table. So our focus could be on the mission at hand about what were we trying to do. A lot of times we spend so much energy fighting just to get paid. By the time we say
your creativity.
Yes,
Yeah.
I done lost my train of thought about what I was trying to do with you in the first place.
Yeah. That's why I like to have the budget conversation first.
Yeah.
So we can talk about range of budget. And if you're good with range of budget, like if we're talking big budget, then we stop talking about money after that. So budget isn't even discussed until the end of the project. But if we're talking, $10,000 or less, then we need to kind of build this up front, get all that stuff taken care of before we start getting into any kind of creative.
Yeah.
So that we can focus on the creative.
It's a
just
very
like you're saying.
interesting thing, though, because I have attended so many conferences for marketing, and I'm in this space where everybody's a coach and an author and a speaker, and they're trying to make these businesses happen. And you walk away from these conferences with all of these, what I would call like tape to like holes to like make things happen. And they're very like, you could cheaply get this and cheaply do that. And then I know this, and here's a code for that. And then and it's like, but it doesn't really, it's not helping people's mindset to like spend on quality, which is always very backwards to me, because then they're like, you should pay me, $200,000 to speak. But but I'm not gonna pay a videographer $500 to shoot me a video. It's crazy. But I see that all the time.
Shoot it on your iPhone and get this Malaysian editor.
And you got to be up at 2 a.m.
Yeah, because they're on the opposite side of you. So
It's a real thing to combat, though, guys.
it is.
For sure. I've been to those conferences.
Right.
We've shot.
We helped put them in the ether,
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Exposure.
But, and getting back to the group, it'll be a spectrum. Like if you're just trying to be more creative, you're trying to tap into your creative side, there'll be plenty of conversations where, we'll just do basic things. Like I know for me, my spirituality and how I walk in my day-to-day feeds my artistic value. Mm-hmm. Like the more experiences, and I heard somebody that was talking about this, about how they took a month to just go experience new things. Because they were like, I'm creating on past experiences, not moments of who I am now and what that looks like in my mind today. And I thought about that. I was like, man, when the last time I had a first time? Like really, as an artist.
A new experience.
Something that makes me in a genesis state of, I don't know what to expect. I'm floating in this thing and it's out of my control. I'm just going with it. And that's one thing I like about us being able to go do events. Mm-hmm. When we were at the Fried Chicken Festival, number one, it had been the pandemic. So
right.
Everything's excited after
Yes.
that.
Yeah. So all of that was cool. But then being in a space where you didn't know people, you had to make new relationships.
Yeah. I love those first time
I
experiences.
I was so energized. We were just like bouncing off the walls.
Yeah.
Let's go.
There we go. Let's go.
And I was like, man, this is who I am. This is what allows me to thrive in my artistic value.
Yeah. That's actually what I love about meeting with new businesses and stuff too. It gives me an opportunity to practice listening.
Yeah.
There's this old Chinese proverb, I think it's in the book of Proverbs too, but it's like, even a fool will be thought wise when he's quiet.
Yeah.
So, listening is key. And then, like, if you don't know an answer or something like that, you don't have to contribute to the conversation. So, and then when you do contribute, because you've listened, you can actually put some value into that conversation. Right. So I could be talking to a financial advisor. I could be talking to a restaurant owner. I could be talking to a car dealership. If I listen properly, then I can speak to the problem, maybe without solving it, but at least we'll be on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? It goes back to the mentor thing. I realize that a lot of times people who have been in the industry for a while want to give that to someone. And they want you to listen and take that instruction and those conversations. Because when you ask a question, if someone new came to you and were asking you about your experiences, things you dedicated your time and effort and life and tears and all these things to, it still lives by passing it on.
Right.
Yeah.
When you don't have that, it just seems like it dies in the wind. But I love being able to sit at the feet of people who would tell me, I remember when, CDs dropped and Napster was there and the industry changed and torrents. We were in radio and, we had to switch it up, and then you had to have street teams, and they talk about how the marketing.
Good guerrilla marketing.
Oh, man.
And how now you're starting to see us get back to that.
That's a question.
Oh, my God. You really just gave me a flashback.
Yeah.
I hit up a whole apartment complex in college.
Look,
Come to my
5,000
event.
flyers in a backpack.
Yep. Just putting them out on the cars.
But that, those are things that people who never experienced that or never were aware of what it took to build would love to hear.
Yeah.
And we got to get back to being able to exchange that kind of value, man.
Absolutely.
And we're going to do that here.
We are going to do that.
January 19th. What time did we say? 6?
After work. So
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah.
You going to give an address or anything?
Not right now. You can find that information on the website. You can, ajwilliamsmedia.com will have it. I think we're going to try to get a landmasscollective.com. And
Yeah.
yeah, so we'll have that information out. Stay up on it. We'll
Here. No.
yeah, somewhere. Well,
Anthony does that. Here, is it here? Either here, maybe here.
I don't know. One of these.
down in the comments. Put some in the comments.
Put some
We'll pin a comment. We'll pin a comment.
Put some down there.
But yeah, so I just asked ChatGPT how to end this podcast, and I'm just going to read it live. Let's see. There are a few different ways we could end the podcast called Landmass Podcast. Let's see.
Use your the blue is he was blue.
Oh, God.
Hold on. It's giving me like
that was gonna be
tips
his line
on
about
how to end the podcast. Tips. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna just say.
Anthony's going into his
Okay.
voice of God voice.
Thanks.
3,
Can you
2, 1.
Can you give me an example? Let's see.
Can we just sit and talk for let's just do a whole season right now.
Here's an example. All right.
I can go meet G.
Here we go.
Go ahead.
All right, so thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Landmass Podcast. We hope you found the information and insights we shared to be helpful in your own creative business journey. In this episode, we talked about the importance of networking, building relationships in creative industry. Remember, connecting with others in your field can help you grow, learn, and find new opportunities. If you have any questions or comments about this topic or anything related to creative business growth, we'd love to hear from you. You can find us on social media or send us an email. We don't have an email yet.
We'll have them soon.
We'll link it somewhere.
Some in the comments.
It'll be pinned in the comments. We also encourage you to visit our website for more information, for more resources, I can't say that word. For more resources and tips on building and growing creative businesses. Until next time, keep striving and reaching new heights in your creative endeavors. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Go and grow, people.
Shout out to the AI. That was dope.